All right, sixth graders. So this is the zentangle project that what it looks like completed. As you can see, I've broken this up into little spaces, and these zentangles are pretty small. So I don't want to see any of these zentangles that are like huge and take up the whole paper or like half of the paper. I want you to do your zentangles pretty small, pretty they're pretty tightly packed in here. There's not a lot of open space. Obviously there's just one space here, but that's because I haven't filled that in yet. And notice how my image, you can see it even though there's a lot of massive zentangles going on, you can still see your image. And that's why it's very important to put this negative space around it, all the way around it, so that it kind of pops or stands out. All right, so what I wanted to show you more importantly today is when you get your image drawn out, okay, you decide what you want. It should be medium size. I know mine's a little bit bigger than that, but that's okay. Just think about, this is about the size I want you to think about, okay? It's like medium. It's not, doesn't take up the whole paper. It's not super tiny. It's even a little off center, and that's okay. Yours could be centered. It could be off to the left, off to the right, up or down. But make sure that whatever you decide, that it looks pleasing to you, okay? It should have good aesthetics. That means it should look good to the eye. So I'm gonna work on, this is what I'm deciding to do for my zentangle. I went ahead and did a little bit more complicated. You guys are not to do anything complicated. The thing I want you to focus on is I centered it the best I could. It does not take up the whole paper, and then you want to, I'm gonna put my what I call force field around it. So I'm gonna go about that far out. You do not need to use a ruler. I am using a ruler because my image is very straight edged, so it'll drive me crazy if it's not a straight edge. Okay, as you can see, I'm giving a little, there's a little room, but there's not too much. It's not taking up the whole paper. Go all the way around it, top, bottom, each side. Because once you start putting zentangles in there, you don't want to lose your image. Again, you do not have to use a ruler. I'm only using a ruler because my image is very straight edged. You can just go around yours. The other one I did is very, like this does not have a straight edge. It's very organic shaped. That means it doesn't have a perfect straight edges. It's not a shape that you can name. It's kind of organic that way. You just need to go around about a quarter. I would say that's about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bigger, all the way around your image, okay? Remember, I'm just using a ruler because this one is very straight edged. All right, once you get it all the way around your image, I missed a spot. This is when I want you to break up these areas. I don't want them to be large areas. I kind of want you to keep it small. So, for the background, you can use a ruler if you want yours to be very straight, but I think for the background, since this is all super straight, I'm actually going to use more organic lines and shapes. What I want you to think about is you want to break up this background into shapes about this size. It looks like, I'd say, I would say like 1 inch or 1.5 inches or so. You don't have to measure. I don't want you guys to start measuring, but I'm gonna stick with like triangles because the Van Halen symbol is kind of a triangle. If you notice on this one, I'm gonna turn it over. My lines to break up all these different shapes are very organic. That, again, it's not straight. It's not a shape you can name. It's organic is something that you would find like in nature, like plants, shapes, or leaves. But this is what I'm talking about. You want to break it up. I'm using triangles because that kind of goes along with the Van Halen symbol. But do you see the size of the spaces I'm giving myself? And remember, this is why you did this worksheet at the beginning. Because you have at least 20 different zentangles you can use. Here's another one. Hold on. In order to keep, you don't have to use the same pattern over and over. As a matter of fact, I'd like you to try to use as many different zentangles as you can so that it makes your design more interesting. As you can see, I really didn't repeat. I tried not to repeat any zentangles. I'm sure that I did at least one or two of the same. It will take me a while to find them, but like these two are very similar. But try to be different in each one. It's a challenge, I know that. That's why I had you look it up. That's why I had you do this exercise with the worksheet. And notice that my zentangles are pretty tightly packed in. They're not big. They're not shapes that are gonna fill up massive spaces, okay? I'm kind of, this almost looks like stained glass. All right, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna do this to the whole background of your paper. All right, and then tomorrow or Thursday, I will actually video record myself putting zentangles in here. When you go to the project paper, once you pencil this, I will use pencil for your image and for all your little spaces, but then once we start filling these in, I'm gonna have you guys switch to Sharpie. That's why I made you practice. If you didn't practice, you need to do at least one practice paper. Yeah, because you definitely just don't wanna go in cold. You wanna have some practice time and show me where you're at so I can give you some input, some feedback. All right, so this is what you need to get started. I'm gonna let you guys go. I'll show you when I finish this and when we start putting zentangles in, what that's gonna look like, okay? So, if you have shown me your practice paper, and I said, yes, you're doing well, or if I've given you another challenge or told you to do something differently, you need to do another practice paper with the way I told you to do it. And then once I see 1 or 2 practice papers, in some cases you may even have 3, and you've shown me this and I said, yes, this is what I'm looking for, then we'll go to the project paper, okay? So I'm thinking about going to the project paper probably, I'd like to be on the project paper for everybody by next Monday, okay? So I think that's the 16th. I think that's plenty of time for you guys to get some practice in, finish up those zentangle worksheets so you have a lot of different ideas for yourself. Yeah, we need to get moving on this because I do want to finish this before Christmas. And I feel like this project is kind of time consuming. You got to fill up all these spaces. It's going to take you some time. Okay. All right. Well, I will see you guys in class tomorrow. I will reiterate some of the things I've said already, which means repeat them. And we'll have fun with our zentangles. See you tomorrow.